Welcome to MagicGatheringStrat. I'm Bava, and I'm playing a little Pauper with Project X. Now this is a deck that Dominic Martz, put together, and it's based, the naming is based on an old constructed deck that had Safi, Eric's Daughter, and Crypt Champion, which had an infinite amount of enters the battlefield and dies triggers. Which made use of these other things, and that was called Project X. And so this has sort of the same idea, so that's why this was named after that deck. It's a Pauper version of Project X that utilizes a combo much like this to get an infinitely large carrion feeder, or with things like Essence Warden in the sideboard, gain infinite life. Like all combo decks in Magic Online, it's a little bit finicky. I've messed up the combo a number of times. I think if you find my other play with Project X on this channel, you will see that I didn't really successfully pull it off a single time. It's a little bit harder when you're making a video. I made just a couple changes to the deck. I don't even know if I made any changes to the deck from Dom's list, but I did make changes to the sideboard. Our sideboard is geared towards Delver and Mono Black Control, the two boogeymen of the format. So we have the Young Wolves here for Mono Black Control, and the Archers for Delver. We have the one of Essence Warden, which we can get with the Wirewood Heralds, the fourth Tragic Slip that we can bring in, and then we can bring in two more Diabolic Edicts. And that gives us a pretty good package. We have Gleeful Sabotage for Affinity and for Hexproof and the Kitty decks as well. And even Mono White Control, which uses those journeys. And it's nice to get those back. So that's more or less what we have going here. So the combo is basically to get the Carrion Feeder on the board with a Safehold Elite, and an Ivy Lane Denizen. And then what you do is you sacrifice the Safehold Elite to the Carrion Feeder, giving him a +1/+1. Safehold Elite persists trigger goes off, and he comes back. When he comes back, use the Ivy Lane Denizen's +1 counter, put it on the Safehold Elite, which makes him a 2/2 again, meaning that you can sacrifice him again, and he'll persist again. So you keep doing that every time the Carrion Feeder gets bigger. So you can do that with an attack if they don't block a Carrion Feeder, or if you have multiples. The Bloodflow Connoisseur works in place of the Carrion Feeder, so you can have up to 7 of these sacrificey dudes. We only have 2 Denizens and 4 Elites. However, the Heralds tutor up any elf. That includes the Herder, so we can give our guy Trample. That includes either of this part of the combo piece here. And then, aside from that, the reason that this deck works is that it's fairly aggressive. The Putrid Leech is a 2-drop 4/4 most of the time that makes your opponent deal with it. And then just having guys that come back, the Safehold Elites, and then unearthing the Safehold Elites, being able to sacrifice things to the Carrion Feeders and avoid life-gaining damage effects and stuff like that can really pan out pretty well. So it's a fun deck. I have actually a really good record with it. It is a little bit tough to play. You have a lot of decisions, but it's a lot of fun. So let's see what we can do here in the tournament practice room against JC Doom. We have a 1-lander. All right, good enough. We have a lot of land in this deck, but surprisingly get a lot of clunky 1-land hands. I'm not sure why. I'm always used to running decks with much fewer land, like Illusory Tricks, which does better. Alright, so we're either seeing a blue-black control deck, which I've been seeing a lot more of lately, or Delver Fiend, or a One-Eyed Cyclops, whatever you want to call that deck. Probably Cyclops. Nope. I've been seeing a lot of blue-black control decks. Bing. Dong dong. In my last match, all my matches so far against blue-black control have won, but it's always a tough matchup. The last one was a blue-black teachings, which maybe this one is too. Huh. Uh-huh. This is a yeah, it's an Exhume deck, but we're gonna edict his guy, so that's cool and all. This is why Diabolic Edict is awesome. And there goes your hand. You can always get it back. Maybe there's more Exhumes. There's another Exhume. Alright. Darn. Pull out another land. We're not attacking. If we get the carrion feeder now. All we need to do is rip safe hold elite off the top, right? Seems challenging though. Okay. These Exhume decks are not consistent. They're really annoying though. What do we sacrifice? Not a combo piece. That guy's the only one we might not need. Well, the Elvish Herder's around too. We're just gonna take 7. No! Alright. We now have an extra land. Let me get this guy out here. Now we now have lots of extra land, I should say. So now we can rip a Wirewood Herald or a Safe Hold Elite. That's 8 cards off the top that can get us there. Or another Diabolic Edict. Or we have a lot of cards that would help actually. We have one more Edict. We have 3 Tragic Slips. And we have the 8 aforementioned creatures. And all of them will get us there. We're still not blocking. Yeah, alright. We're doing this to clear out more land. I mean green guys. Leave back 2 blockers. So I'm dead if he hits me one more time. He's brainstorming again. Oh, he brainstormed an Evolving Wilds. That was good. Got rid of stuff he didn't want. I wonder what he's looking for. Probably just a counterspell to deal with anything I get that would answer his hand, right? Well. Yeah. We still have an extra forest. He does not have trample, so we will just do that. He's getting some mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Putrid Imp. Not scary. Alright. Oh. Hey, look at me. What does this go on? Well... I guess we'll put it on... 2, 4, 5, 6. Carrion feeder. He's gonna get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're dead either way, right? Not quite yet. But he can't block. But it doesn't matter. He's the only one who's attacking. Okay. Yay. Oh my god. It's land forever. Ugh. Can we live for one more turn and keep our combo going? Yeah. Looks that way. Alright, so we get another chance. There's so many cards. Of course, now there's 2 hands of Emrakul. There's still so many cards that would help. It's frustrating. Now his imp can't. He should have attacked. He can't block. So we sacrifice a forest. Yeah. Or that other forest. So okay. Yeah, we'll sacrifice a forest. We'll block, and we'll block. Huh. Still can't block. They're there to discard a card when you want to for a black. That's not bad. Well, Now we have to not mess up the combo because we have it on the table. And I wish it weren't so finicky. Yeah. On the save hold delete. All right. Well, we did it. Silly, finicky combo. Tragic Slip, Diabolic Edict, Diabolic Edict. We don't need Sabotage. We don't need Essence Warden. I guess we could take Essence Warden. Gaining infinite life. Probably also get us there, right? What do we get rid of? Nameless Inversion, +3, -3 is not going to help a lot. He's got black, so he's probably got removal, which we should be careful about. Otherwise, the Putrid Leech, still a pretty good 2-drop. We don't really want to get rid of our creature count too much. I think maybe the Nest Invader. I'm going to keep this Nest Invader around. I'll take out a couple Putrid Leech. Alright, it's a better starting hand. We'll keep. Okay. One drop for us. With 4 land, makes me want to start clearing some out a little bit. We want to swamp here. Okay. Yeah, we have an Edict which will help us get around his combo once. Okay. He doesn't have hand in there yet, so that's good. Let's do our aggressive play here. We've got both of our combo helpers. We get one part of the combo. Usually it's good to wait on this guy and see which part you actually need. I also don't exactly have a way to kill him off yet, so. Okay, so there's a Blood Flow Connoisseur, which is great. We get the Wirewood Herald. We crashed on the beta, and we can get back in really quick, but it looks like JC Doom thought maybe we were taking off. So he quit the match there, unfortunately. So I'm going to add onto this some of the other matches that I've played in my match history. And hey, we can even do some, why not? Game history, blah, 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 blah. And we can even do a commentary over them. Why not? So this was a, that was a ridiculous game. What do we got going here? Alright, this was against MTGOFF. Go! So good hand here, 4 land. And we got the safe hold elite. Oh yeah, this one. This was a good match. So we throw him out there. We have the Carrion Feeder. We're just looking for the Ivy lane. But Nest Invader gives us a better beatdown against our opponent if he's stuck on a land. And we throw the Bequeathal on the Eldrazi spawn. Our opponent was stuck on 1 forest, and so he conceded the first game. At this point, I think that he's playing Stompy, and I sideboard accordingly. If you saw a forest and a Bone Splitter, wouldn't you think your opponent was playing Stompy? Probably. And we got a 2-lander here, but we got some Putrid Leeches, which are great against Stompy. And then we find out he's playing Infect. So they're less great against Infect. We don't take the opportunity to slip his Blight Mamba, thinking that maybe we'll have some time. His Blight Mamba gets to 2/2. He throws a Rancor on it, and then the Spider Umbra is really what clinches it, because he can both regenerate it and get around our slip at this point with his 4 land, and it's got Trample. We can still try and combo off. It's kind of our only hope at this point. We saw that in the other game too. And just get our combo out there and we'll be okay. And we don't care about life, so why not pay 2 to make our leech bigger? It makes him regenerate. And I think about using Tragic Slip, but I opt not to because we really need 2 if we're going to make it work. We get in there for a little bit more. He gets a Rotwolf, we gain a life, which doesn't matter. We block with everything. Then we go ahead and try and kill that Spider Umbra, because why not? We see the vines, but at least it didn't hit us in the face. But we've got nothing after that. No combo, not enough removal to get past the Blight Mamba with the Umbra and the Growing. So we bring in, now that we know we're playing against Infect, we bring in all of our Diabolic Edicts, and we have all our Tragic Slips, and I think I also bring in the Gleeful Sabotage to get rid of things like Ichor Clomber, the Corpse Cur, and these sorts of enchantments, and the Bone Splitter we saw earlier. There's plenty of stuff for Gleeful Sabotage to hit, and we go into game 3. We get a 2-lander with Guild Gates. A little slow, but at least we have our colors. Throw out our Herder. We've got the Carrion Feeder and the Herald, which means we're only 1 card off from comboing already. And I believe we just hang out. And we mess up there a little bit. I messed up in the first place because we take 9 poison right off the bat there. So we throw the Bequeathal on our Herald and then sacrifice it to the Carrion Feeder, which is great because we get to tutor. We tutor for the Nameless Inversion in this case, which is our Shapeshifter removal. The other nice thing that Wirewood Herald can get, besides our combo pieces, that slows down our combo, but that's okay. And I forgot how much Gleeful Sabotage really sucks against Rancor, unfortunately. But we sabotage the Corpse Cur, and we know he's got the Mamba back. with the Corpse Cur. Now we see the Bone Splitter, and he's got another Rancor in his hand. We know that too. And then we sacrifice just so that we can get the Tragic Slip up so that it can kill it on top of the Seal of Strength. He gets a Taunting Elf, which does not have Infect, so that thing can hit us as much as it wants to. And we now have him down to 4 life. So the Taunting Elf, we have to kill the Herder because that's going to draw us 2 cards. And we get 2 green cards, which lets us conspire with our Sabotage. So at this point we can kill the Bone Splitter and the Rancor, which makes his Taunting Elf a 0/1 again. Which means that even with his Seal of Strength, he can't kill my Carrion Feeder and he has to block it. All he's got is Rancors in hand, so he chooses to concede. He could have gotten something else out here that would have helped. Maybe, but I guess beating down with the Carrion Feeder and with the Putrid Leech, and having another Tutor Engine there with our Herald, he was pretty much out of luck. But he hit us for that 9 poison. It was a really close, interesting match. Let's see if this is the right deck. What's going on here? Hey, look, there it is. Alright, so mulligan to 6 with a 3-lander. Oh, yeah. And we're playing against what looks like elves here. And so we decide to be aggressive and beat him down with the biggest early Carrion Feeder we can get. He decides to be an elves player and dump his hand on turn 2. Yeah. So I've played elves. I've never gotten hands like this. I never do. Alright, so we get the Safehold Elite and the other Safehold Elite. And we got a 3/3, so we can keep beating in, and we can sacrifice these guys up to 4 times to make our Carrion Feeder a 7/7. Which I thought about doing there to hit him for 7, but I like having this persist blockers that he really just doesn't want to attack into. So he gets Multani's Acolyte, which is a 2/1 elf that lets him draw a card. He seems to draw into or either had another Multani's Acolyte, so he's just increasing his elf count over there. And we have 3 Safehold Elites, so we can make this Carrion Feeder super huge. So he decides to block. So we are now chumping, making him chump an elf every turn. Good for us. We sacrifice a Safehold Elite to draw 2 cards off the Bequeathal. We swing in again, smack him around. Tragic Slip Solana Huntmaster, so he can't get a bunch of stupid little chump elves every time. We've got this Unearth sitting there in case we need it. I'm tempted to cycle it, and I do. Mainly because we need to hit our Trample Elf, or we need to get our combo life gain. Our life gain's not in here. It comes in off the sideboard. Basically, we need something else besides what we have on the board, so that's why I don't cast the Unearth. That's why it gets cycled. Alright, and he's got a crap load of elves. He got his Distant Melody, so he drew 6 cards off that. You think that would make a huge difference, but really, I'm not super concerned about it. He's not attacking me, which is possible that if he played more aggressively, it would have been a different game. But he chooses not to attack into my Safehold Elite. I'm going to make him chump 2 elves a turn, which eventually is going to work to my advantage, I hope. Or just 1 elf and take a little damage. That's fine. He hasn't gotten any of his big elves yet. We Bequeathal again, draw 2 cards. I always do the... I'll keep a land in my hand every once in a while. Just to bluff something. But I'll always play the Expanses and the Evolving Wilds just to filter land from my deck. Gives me a better chance of drawing some steam. Alright, so we have the combo on board, but we do not have trample, but he chooses not to block one of our carrion feeders, so we get to go infinite. That's the tricky thing about this combo, is this deck doesn't look like a combo deck. And then people are like, what? But then we just get huge. Blah, blah. And eventually he realizes, oh shit, this guy's going to get just as big as he needs to get. So we do get the combo off there, and our opponent concedes. If you look at the chat here, I did also get kicked in that game, but he waited for me to come back. The beta client is pissing me off. It doesn't matter too much in competitive play, of course, because if they quit, you win. But it is annoying for practice when they leave. And he conceded that match after the first game. Alright, so we'll end just one more. And you can see this is my record today. That draw is the one where he quit when I was disconnected. But we were doing good in that game against JC Doom. So you can see undefeated with Project X today. And we'll look at the other game. This was the game against the Blue-Black Teachings I was talking about. Which was a grindy game, but it'll go faster here and fast forward. So we got a 2-lander, but rip a third. Our leech gets counterspelled. I tend to crack the Terramorphic Expanse on my turn just because it makes things go a little bit faster. I can F6 through my opponent's turns if I do it that way. So he cycles an Abomination and then Doomblades my Safehold Elite, which of course comes back. He evokes a Muldrifter. He does not have the Undying Evil combo for it, which makes me happy at least. Then I get some dudes out there. Bequeathal on Wirewood Herald is great, because you get a tutor and then you get to draw 2 cards. Bam. And then we get the Wirewood Herald back. This gives us backups of our combo pieces. However, then we have to discard our combo, which is like the saddest thing ever, right? So we can get one part back. I get the Safehold Elite back because it works a lot better against removal. And just try and keep beating in against my opponent here. Putrid Leech, keep beating down, get him to 9. End of turn Teachings is for a Grim Harvest, which he uses to bring back his Twisted Abomination, which he gets out there. So we have a 5/3 regenerating blocker. And here, right here, whoa, whoa, whoa. What happened? Where did my Putrid Leech go? Ah. Okay, so I'd already sacrificed my Putrid Leech, then he cast Doomblade, then I sacrifice my Safehold Elite. I see. I felt like I made a big mistake there in sacrificing my Putrid Leech after he cast Doomblade, but he cast Doomblade in response to my sacrificing the Putrid Leech. So it wasn't a huge mistake. If I hadn't have sacrificed my Putrid Leech, I think he would have just killed it and left his regenerate mana up, which would have been a good play, but since I did that, he could use his black mana at that point. Okay, so not the big play mistake I thought I made. We do get him down to 2 life. And we're going to discard our land that we were holding as discard bait, so that's good. Elvish Herder would win the game. It gets counterspelled. He can't attack. Unearth would win the game. Well, with Elvish Herder. It gets counterspelled. Mystical Teachings is flashed back for another Mystical Teachings. There's our Denizen, which will win the game. It gets killed. we eat it. And our guy disappears briefly, but he comes back. It's the magical power of the carrion feeder that he can become invisible. Like I said, I keep discard bait sometimes with land, but not the crack lands, because I want to filter land out of my deck so I can draw better stuff. Tragic Slip would win the game. He casts Teachings to get Rewind to counter it and untap his land. And now we're down a creature as well, because I had to sacrifice my Safehold Elite. Diabolic Edict would win the game. It gets counterspelled. Bequeathal won't do jack by itself. Nest Invader, I know he has an Exclude in his hand, so I don't cast it right now. There's another Bequeathal, which doesn't help on its own. Carrion Feeder can sacrifice itself, but I'm not going to. I cast the Nest Invader now because I have 2 creatures to cast. They both get excluded. So not only do they get countered, but he's not even down cards for doing that. He gets a Muldrifter, and he chooses to attack me, which is great because then I put Bequeathal on his Muldrifter, and I attack, and he has to block, and I get to draw 4 cards. Yay for me. He uses his Grim Harvest. He gets his Grim Harvest back, I should say. And now we get Excluded. Then we get a Herald. Herald gets Piracy Charmed, we sack it, and we get Nameless Inversion, which would win the game. There's a Muldrifter, an Abomination. He's a little greedy here by casting another Twisted Abomination. So we swing in here. We make him use his black mana. He loses his Grim Harvest and an Abomination, and then we get to Tragic Slip the other Abomination. Sorry, I got interrupted there for a second. So we get our Nameless Inversion, and then we get a Tragic Slip. The only reason I really attacked first was just to make him only have 1 mana left, which seemed a little bit better than having 2 mana left as far as counter spells went. So we got rid of both his Twisted Abominations, and I can only assume that he only had Doomblades in here for his direct removal. He had a crap load of counter spells, but of course you can't Doomblade a Carrion Feeder. You can't Victim of Night a Carrion Feeder either, so maybe that's his other counter. But yeah, so eventually, after a whole lot of counter spells, we got there in this one too. So Project X, kind of a finicky combo deck, but also kind of a resilient beatdown deck that has answers for a lot of things, especially against control decks, having 4 persist creatures and 4 undying creatures, and things that hit for 4 for 2 mana, and being able to sack stuff. It can work out pretty darn well. Anyway, it's one of my favorite decks to play, actually, alongside Illusory Tricks and weird affinity builds. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry we didn't get through that first match, but at least you got to see and fast forward some of the other matches. Dom, who put together this deck, is going to be doing weekly limited videos for us. You'll see more of his videos and hear his charming accent as well. So say hello for me in the comments to him, and please leave comments in this video if you have any thoughts about this deck, Project X, or any of the matches here. I look forward to hearing from you. Catch you guys later.